Well, first up, a quick check of the latest in Bengaluru's urban woes. Wipro founder Azim Premji has politely declined Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah's request to open the sprawling Wipro campus in the Sarjapur area to restricted traffic access to ease the traffic situation on the outer ring road in Bengaluru. Responding to the request from Siddaramaiah, Azim Premji wrote a letter stating that the campus is in a special economic zone with strict access control norms. He has further suggested an expert-led study to develop long-term solutions. He's pointed out that the issue requires a comprehensive data-driven approach rather than piecemeal fixes. Last evening, the government held a consultation with various stakeholders, including Biocon Chief Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw, amongst others, to discuss solutions and set a 90-day deadline. The onus, Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw, speaking after the meeting, had also said is on the citizens and everyone else. Deepak Bupanna, my colleague who's been tracking this very closely, joins us live, as well as urban planning expert Sandeep Aniruddhan. Thanks very much to the two of you for joining us. Deepak, the request from Siddaramaiah came as a surprise for some. It would seem more aimed at saying that the onus for a solution to Bengaluru's traffic woes is on everyone, including the big corporates, and not just seeking that quick solution to cut through the Wipro campus. What are you hearing?
Well, definitely it came as a surprise, Veera, and we did discuss this between ourselves when this letter was written, that it was a bizarre request, because at the end of the day this is private property. The government, of course, gives permission for construction of these buildings, and when a tech park is built or a campus is built for a private company, to then after many years write to them that, well, hand over your campus so that we allow public vehicles to pass through, was a bizarre request and probably a temporary fix. And now that's exactly the kind of response that Wipro has come out with. While they say, of course, they are in with the government to find a permanent solution to these problems on this stretch of the road, but they believe that allowing for vehicles through their campus is just going to invite a myriad of issues for them and for the government on both the legal counts and also on various other aspects. So for now, it's a big no from Wipro as far as allowing vehicles is concerned. Does this mean the government does not have any other way out? Because it seemed like when they wrote this letter, they thought that this was going to fix the problem. So what are they going to do next? That is something that remains to be seen, even as now they're also holding these discussions with some urban planners, experts, corporate CEOs. Yesterday, like you said, Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw was in Vidhan Sauda speaking along with the Chief Secretary and other officials to find some solutions to these civic issues.
Right, we'll have to work towards that solution. You remember there are multiple stakeholders at stake here as far as finding that solution. It is an enormous problem. We'll go across to Sandeep Aniruddhan as well in just a bit to find out what possible solutions need to be worked at and how we work towards it. But first, just listening to the political reactions that came in earlier in the day, because it's been a serious political slugfest as well over Bengaluru's civic infrastructure. This is Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivkumar and Chief Minister Siddaramaiah earlier in the day.
इधर मुखलीला और सरकार इधर बीजेपी सरकार इधर मुखलीला और सरकार इधर बीजेपी सरकार. Of course, there are parties. I have seen 3 days back. I was gone there. I have seen them. BJP has also tried to do some mock-up. That they do. I can also. Our workers also will do the same thing in Hubli, Belgaum, wherever their competitions are there. Whether all those patrols have been. We are there at the job. I only have requested the common man, public, police to write a letter, because you see the heavy rains are there. The misadministration of the BJP government last 3 years, they could not do anything. They could not do any small killers, not any small work. We are trying to fulfill it, and we will do it. We will not run away from our problem. We are there. That is why we decided, even the Chief Minister also, I asked the Chief Minister's chair, and the Chief Minister was kind enough to give us a course. To see that the refilling has been worked.
Whether it's the letter to Wipro or whether it is the message that's coming out of the government, Sandeep Aniruddhan, seems to be that, look, don't just blame one government or the politicians for the problem. Everyone's part of the problem. This is a massive city that's grown enormously fast, and we cannot be blaming each other if we want to find a solution to this problem. Would you agree, or do you believe that there is a primary onus on the government to find a solution to this?
Veera, thanks for having me. if you ask me, the politics that keeps blaming each other, actually both parties are correct. Both parties have been in power at various times in the last 3 decades, and all of them have contributed to this mess because there is no urban planning in Bengaluru. Secondly, there are no good quality process for either for construction of road. It beats me why they cannot have a warranty period as part of a clause of a road contract. Give it to a road construction company, which gives you a 5-year warranty period or 10-year warranty period. Have a service level agreement. If there's a single pothole on it, the company has to fix it. The problem will take care of itself because the company will have to bear the cost of the repairs. Therefore, it will build a good road, or it will have to bear the cost of the repair. Why can't the contract be formulated in such a way? Then you won't have to have this. You know how much money gets spent every year? Thousands of crores are spent. It doesn't happen once a year. Every rain there are potholes. So basically, when the southwest monsoon hits the city, there is one round of pothole fixing. Then when the northeast monsoon hits the city, there's another round of pothole fixing. Then there is a pothole death somewhere, there will be another round of pothole fixing. So if you calculate the amount of money that's spent every year, it's close to 2,000 to 3,000 crores.
A point completely taken, Sandeep, but that's as far as potholes is concerned. Let's move beyond potholes, because potholes are only part of the problem. The condition of the roads is only part of the problem. The traffic mess is something that's enormous. How do we deal with that? That's really the crucial issue now.
So, Veera, it's actually simple, because everybody thinks they have to figure out a new way of doing it. It is not so. It is prescribed in the Constitution how a city has to be planned and how it has to be governed in the 74th Amendment, which was passed in 1992. As per that, a city has to have a planning authority called the Metropolitan Planning Committee, which has to be capacitated with experts like urban planners, transport planners, economists, sociologists, etc., so that a vision plan and a master plan for the city is there, and they have, say, short-term master plans and an annual development plan which updates new realities. We don't have any of these. We call ourselves the IT capital of the universe, but we don't have the basic. Singapore has a 50-year vision plan, and they have 10-year master plans, and they have annual revised development plans. London has a 25-year vision plan, and they have master plans and development plans. Why do we have to reinvent the wheel? Forget that. It's there in our constitution. So the state is duty-bound to implement the constitution. Why is it not doing it? If you ask me, the systemic fix is what is required.
Important question that you've raised on the need for a master plan. Let's quickly listen to Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw, who was part of a meeting last evening. Hopefully this entire focus that has been there over the last few weeks from the media, from the people with viral Instagram reels and the politics around it will lead us towards some kind of an effort towards a solution, and that's really the hope. Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw was there as part of a meeting last evening and spoke with NDTV. Listen in.
See, also the pothole issues that you're often been speaking about it, that how it is really not giving a smooth travel to the commuters. That something is not being resolved at all for the full time. There's no permanent solution that we are seeing, ma'am. You had DK Shivakumar, Deputy CM, saying that this blackmail from the corporate companies will not work, and then you have CM writing it to the to the Wipro founder itself, saying you provide us a space so that traffic can be allowed in. And how do you see all this?
Let me explain to all of you. I think you all have to go around the city. It is not an easy solution. Okay, we have 1 lakh cars or vehicles, not just cars but two-wheelers, 80% of them are two-wheelers, being registered every week. I mean, this is unsustainable, okay? So we do need to come up with some, deterrents where people are not allowed to come onto the streets at peak hours the way they are. We have tried carpooling, it has never worked. But we have to get back to some of these measures. And we also have to make sure that people abide by law, and also what the fact is that whether it is pothole filling, whether it is asphalting, these are measures we'll have to do as quick fixes for the time being, but then gradually we will have to have permanent solutions. That is what we are all now discussing, and I think for the first time all the agencies, all the the commissioners have basically taken it upon themselves to be accountable and to hold people accountable.
Sandeep, you heard Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw there. Do you believe and do you have hope that we will move towards some kind of a categorical solution?
I'm very sorry to say I don't see a solution in sight, because if you listen to what these elites speak, they're not mentioning the constitutional provisions. They're not talking of the constitutional prescriptions. They're not talking of master planning. See, because of a lack of master planning, Bengaluru is going through what you call unplanned development, and due to which the entire city is crumbling. In fact, the Supreme Court pointed it out in 2023 judgment that Bengaluru is a template for urban ruin. Why? Because we don't master plan. Therefore, the growth is too much. That where there is amenities for 1x, now we have amenities for. We have a population of 25x or 50x. This is not sustainable. That is why the roads are crumbling. That's why all the infrastructure is crumbling. We need to have planning as an approach. Otherwise, we will never get anywhere close to a solution. But unfortunately, the government, the system, the officials avoid what is prescribed in the constitution, because then they will be accountable. Then they'll be transparent. They don't want it, because all the money is in the game of avoiding accountability. The political economy is larger than
you're saying you're making some strong accusations. There are those who are sitting down to try and work for a solution. Let's see who's part of the problem, who is making the problem. It requires a multi-pronged approach. Thanks very much there, Sandeep Aniruddhan, for joining us here on the Southern View.